Well, it's one of the things we talked about, of course, what was happening in Georgia. Of course, Stacey Abrams, she spoke last night, and she made it clear she's going to continue to fight this thing out. They're still counting those ballots there in Georgia as we speak. Last night, you know, we were talking to, of course, to LaTosha Brown and Cliff Albright. They, of course, they filed a lawsuit against Brian Kemp. As it stands right now, I mean, you talk about a difference of less than 70,000 votes. Let's go live to Atlanta with LaTosha Brown and Cliff Albright. First and foremost, glad to have y'all back. When we talk about what is going on here, Abrams did not do what Andrew Gillum did. She came out last night and gave a speech, and she says, we are going to fight this thing because she is trying to force this thing to a December 4th runoff.
That's right. We want all votes counted. That in this process, we want to make sure that every single vote is counted. And I think that she did the right thing. When you've got a election that is this tight and is razor thin, and you combine that with some of the voter suppression issues that have been going on, what we want to make sure is that every single person that cast a vote, that vote is in fact counted.
When we think about this, LaTosha, when we talk about what is going on there, we saw so many voting irregularities. Of course, we still have outstanding questions about mail-in ballots, provisional ballots, and so those are critical. And we know that so many African Americans have been forced to do provisional balloting because of the whole issue of voter purging. And you may, look, we don't know what's there, but you might have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 votes sitting out there that could go the way of Stacey Abrams.
Absolutely. That's very possible. It was so, the voter suppression was so widespread. There were so many people that got to polls and had to deal with vote to cast provisional ballots that it could certainly be 10, 20, 30,000 votes out there that need to be counted and a part of this process. And I think that's part of one of the downsides you see for voter suppression, that when there's voter suppression, right, you've got this environment where that actually leads up to black votes not being counted. But you also, if you're educating folks, as we did in the work that we and others did in Georgia, we told people not to leave the polls and to demand a provisional ballot. So we know that there are thousands of provisional ballots, primarily cast by African American voters who went to voter suppression problems, their names not being on at the polling site, on the voting rolls. There was one woman who was a 92-year-old woman who voted at this particular poll in the primary election just a couple of months ago. She shows up to vote and her name is not on the voting list. But she cast a provisional ballot, and there's all kinds of reports that we received and witnessed on yesterday of people casting provisional ballots. So we know that there are thousands of those ballots out there that could be counted and could make a difference in this election.
All right, Cliff. Again, when we look at these voting issues, I just thought it was right to Stacey Abrams to send a signal to her supporters that she wants every ballot to be counted, because even if she loses, it allows for you to then to go back and study what went right, what went wrong, what were the numbers, what happened here, what happened there, to be able to deal with the next election, the next statewide election.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Roland. That's why we thought it was important for her to fight. We think it's important that we continue to count every ballot. We think that it's important. That's why this lawsuit was filed, that LaTosha is the lead litigant on, because we need to open up this process, get more transparency. We know that with Brian Kemp, we've seen an unprecedented level of conflict of interest. And so we need to be able to see what's been going on with this process. Honestly, that's also the reason why in Florida it's so important that we be able to get to that automatic recount, because once you get to the recount, you can get some more transparency to see what's been going on with all this voter suppression that's been taking place, these provisional ballots, even the way that absentee ballots are being treated, right? Which ballots are being thrown away. When you have the candidate who's also the referee and judge and picking the voters, it's just open up for all kinds of unethical behavior.
All right, Cliff, LaTosha, we certainly appreciate it. Y'all have been doing a bang-up job with Black Voters Matter. Thank you so very much for keep fighting and keep us updated with what's happening in Georgia.
We will. Thank you, Roland.
All right, thank you very much. Good luck.